The mid-20th century cultural theorist Raymond Williams noted in his book Keywords that culture is one of the two or three most complicated words in the English dictionary. Now he goes on to note that this is due to both its intricate historical development and how it has become a central concept in several distinct intellectual disciplines and several distinct and incompatible systems of thought. Now, while Williams is right that culture is a complex term with multiple meanings stemming from numerous academic disciplines, this shouldn't dissuade you as an introduction to sociology student from beginning to learn, understand, and apply it. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Online Sociologist. My name is Ryan. In this video, I'm going to attempt to provide an introductory definition of the concept of culture as defined by mainstream sociology, as well as the subcategories making it up. Learning about and applying these definitions will help you better prepare for your own sociological projects and analysis, and also provide you a stronger foundation to engage in the debates laid out by Williams's assessment above. But before getting into this, I want to invite you to like and subscribe to the Online Sociologist if you want to see more content related to the world of sociology and how it can be applied not only in the classroom but in your everyday lives. I want to start off with the definition of culture that you are most likely to come across, as it is the definition most likely to be cited in your textbook. That is, culture is the shared beliefs, values, and practices of a society. Or, in other words, it is the basic understanding of others in a society that allows social relations to take place and to distinguish it from other societies. Now, this concept is usually followed by a whole host of smaller categories that make up the larger concept of culture. The ones that we're going to touch on here are non-material culture, material culture, subculture, counterculture, cultural specifics, and cultural universals. Non-material culture is defined as the ideas, attitudes, and beliefs of a particular society. This is composed of the ideas of what is right or wrong, or good or bad. It is the ideas related to what God or gods one serves, or what type of governing institution is best and what is worst. This also includes tastes, such as taste in fashion, entertainment, or art. On the other hand, material culture is the vessel through which non-material culture is carried out. So while elements of material culture are physical in nature, they are also symbolic, meaning they are tangible objects used to represent something else. For example, think of the famous starter pack meme. This meme targets certain social groups within society and identifies them through elements of their material culture. While highly stereotypical of such groups, this meme clearly shows how one's everyday physical objects become signifying agents of their non-material culture. This emphasis on smaller social groups leads me to the next pair of subcategories, which are subculture and counterculture. Both are simply defined as smaller cultural groups within a larger society. To look at this more concretely, they are the smaller groups of jocks or nerds in the larger school. However, there is a crucial difference between these groups. Groups that are defined as a subculture have values and beliefs that do not conflict with the values and beliefs of the larger society. In comparison, countercultural groups do have values and beliefs that do conflict with those of the larger society. So, jocks or nerds in the high school would be considered a subculture in that they are groups that have carved out a niche space within the larger school population and culture. Their existence doesn't conflict with that larger cultural mission of the school and can even help promote it. However, if a group is formed within the school whose primary cultural identity and purpose was the overthrow of the school system and those in power, that would be considered a countercultural group. Or, if groups formed whose cultural identity was formed around breaking the rules of the school, whether it be showing up late to class, disrespecting the teacher, fighting, or doing drugs, those groups could be labeled as countercultural. The cultural element of a school, as well as even smaller groups within it, can be considered cultural specifics, in that they are material and non-material cultural elements particular to those certain groups. In other words, these elements aren't reproducible. While the larger mission might be the same, the ways in which a school is organized at an elite boarding school in New England, in the New England region of the U.S., is much different from an underfunded public school in the South Bronx region of New York. Furthermore, the values and beliefs of what education should be in the United States are much different from those in any other country in the world. Now, this begs the question, are there any cultural elements that transcend the border between societies? According to some social scientists, the answer is yes. And this is what they call cultural universals, or values, beliefs, and practices that are common amongst all cultures. Now, the biggest cultural universal identified by social scientists is language. Language, whether verbal or nonverbal, is the primary way members of a society communicate with one another. Thus, it is a common bind bringing that community together and organizing those societies in the everyday experiences of those within it. In other words, language helps to build bridges between people and define how one should feel, think, and act in response to certain stimuli. Other cultural universals that social scientists have identified are the institution of marriage, the practice of religious rituals, and some form of property rights. It also includes the creation of art and aesthetic forms of self-expression, gift-giving, storytelling, and even joking. So, there you have it. In this video, I provided a short introduction to how mainstream sociologists define culture and the different subcategories that make it up. This definition and these subcategories are important in that they not only will help you better understand what the textbook and teacher are talking about, but it will allow you to understand the concept of culture more systematically. Moreover, if interested, this lecture will provide you a strong foundation to dig deeper into the complexities and debates around culture that have been raging within and between disciplines for over a century. So let me know what you think of this lecture in the comments below, and if I missed anything. I want to thank you all for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content related to the world of sociology and how it can be used not only in the classroom, but in your everyday lives. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.